In competitive environments, individuals who disregard ethical boundaries often gain access to strategies unavailable to their morally constrained counterparts. They may make false promises, spread misinformation, or exploit societal fears without hesitation. History illustrates this vividly. Consider the fates of Cicero and Julius Caesar. While Cicero upheld principles, Caesar was willing to break norms and seize power, a pattern echoed in modern politics and business. Research from the University of British Columbia suggests that individuals with psychopathic traits, when paired with social charm, often advance more quickly in organizations. This phenomenon appears globally, from China's Shenu archetype of ruthless female executives to Nordic companies, where manipulative leaders outperform ethical ones, despite cultural emphasis on collaboration. The result is what game theorists call a race to the bottom. When unethical behavior is rewarded, others feel pressured to adopt similar tactics or risk being left behind. Over time, such dynamics reshape systems, making unethical behavior seem normal rather than exceptional. However, not all systems reward incompetence and immorality equally. Understanding the structural conditions that allow such traits to flourish is the first step in building better institutions. Machiavelli recognized that different environments reward different traits. Systems with clear and immediate feedback, such as surgery or engineering, tend to expose incompetence quickly. In contrast, environments with delayed, distorted, or easily manipulated feedback, like politics, bureaucracies, or media, allow incompetence to persist. Institutional design is also critical. Systems that concentrate power with weak oversight often allow incompetence to thrive, as seen in the centralized Soviet model. In contrast, structures with strong checks, such as Germany's dual-board corporate governance, can constrain poor leadership. Complexity and information asymmetry further compound the issue. When outcomes are hard to measure or understand, superficial impressions outweigh substance. As Machiavelli observed, people often judge by appearance rather than results, especially in domains where few possess the expertise to evaluate performance deeply. Economic incentives also play a decisive role. Systems that reward short-term gains over long-term outcomes promote performative leadership. The 2008 financial crisis exemplified how reward structures focused on immediate profits fostered leadership that prioritized appearance over substance, regardless of long-term consequences. Even in well-designed systems, psychologically manipulative tactics can help incompetent individuals maintain power. One common tactic is exploiting identity politics and tribalism, framing criticism as an attack on the group rather than the leader. This deepens loyalty and shields leaders from accountability. Psychologists call this identity fusion, where a leader's identity becomes so entwined with the group's that criticism of one feels like a threat to the other. Another tactic involves overwhelming people with constant controversy and distraction, reducing their capacity for focused resistance. Leaders also manipulate perception by embracing contradictions and shifting narratives, what George Orwell called doublethink. This distorts the sense of objective truth and makes accountability nearly impossible. Such leaders often rise during periods of economic instability. When people are anxious about their future, they become more vulnerable to those offering emotionally satisfying, simplistic solutions instead of nuanced, honest analysis. Modern media habits, driven by outrage and distraction, only exacerbate this vulnerability. To combat these forces, both individual and systemic strategies are essential. On a personal level, 3 practices are key: intellectual humility, media literacy, and philosophical reflection. Intellectual humility helps us recognize the limits of our knowledge and resist false certainty. Media literacy enables us to filter substance from spectacle. Philosophical reflection encourages us to step back from daily noise and consider deeper truths. At the institutional level, 3 principles are essential: accountability, cognitive diversity, and transparency. Institutions must implement mechanisms that provide honest feedback, regardless of a leader's charisma or influence. They must also cultivate diverse perspectives to challenge assumptions and reduce blind spots. Finally, transparency must be enforced through sunshine laws, independent oversight, and disclosure requirements, so that complexity cannot be used as a smokescreen for incompetence or corruption. Education ties these elements together. Beyond technical skills, we must prioritize ethical reasoning and critical thinking. Great societies, from ancient Athens to Renaissance Florence, understood that wisdom, not just knowledge, is essential to enduring progress. Machiavelli, often misinterpreted as endorsing cynical power plays, was in fact diagnosing them. He believed that by understanding how power truly operates, we could design better systems. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. A reminder that authority deserves no automatic respect. It must be earned through principled action. By recognizing and addressing the structural and psychological conditions that enable incompetence and unethical leadership, we can build systems that reward merit, integrity, and truth. Understanding darkness does not mean surrendering to it. It means gaining the power to create light.